Hello, good. This is still morning. Good morning, and this is Dr. Princess coming to you this morning to talk about strategies to keep children safe during this stay in. Coronavirus is something ravaging the world right now. Everyone, everywhere, and impacted by this virus. And as much as we want to talk about how to prevent the virus, challenges are also emerging. Challenges that are emerging have to do with how do we keep children safe. Keeping them safe is not. Thank you so much for who has joined in. Please, if you've joined in, please just say hello so that I know you're there. I will appreciate just hearing from you. So as I was saying, coronavirus is here and is affecting and impacting the world all over. So it's not just Nigeria. Everywhere there is pandemonium already on how to prevent and also how to deal with those who are affected. And so that has caused a lot of shutdown, clamp down on so many aspects of society. In economical, schools are told to stay home, civil servants are staying home, at least in the Nigerian side of it. So now, but how do we make sure children are going to be safe? How do we make sure our children are safe? How do we make sure we prevent, the abuse of children? Because we have to realize it that over 90% of those who abuse or molest children in any form, whether physically, emotionally, or sexually, are people they know. And also to avoid us taking out the stress, because stress level is getting high because of the different kind of things that are coming at us at this time. And it is really like the last time Ebola came and some schools were shut down in the Congo within 2014, 2016, there was a high rise. And the world is recognizing that there is a rise on abuse of children in these times. And as parents, some of us are finding ourselves at home already. Some people are still able to go out. But the reality is that the dynamics of how to manage when you know your children are supposed to be in school and now they're at home, and how you have to make sure that they are safe and secure, not just from sexual abuse, emotional, and also exposure to certain things that ordinarily you would not want them to be exposed to, is why we're talking. Toyin, good morning. Thanks, welcome for joining me. Favor, thanks for joining me. And so I decided to just do this video to just talk about this, and I'll be doing a series more on this at this time because it's important for us to know what to do and how to up our game in meeting the demands of the situation we have found ourselves, because we cannot pretend that there is nothing happening right now. A lot is happening and people are caged in and do not know what to do. Now, we say over 90% of people who do this to children or who abuse or molest children are people we know. So what do we do? How do we attend to them? How do we make sure they're safe? Some parents are still finding themselves having to go to work. So what do you do with children? You may have to drop them with families. You have to leave them with paid servants. Crutches are shutting down, daycares are shutting down, and so what do we do? And making sure they are safe, it's so important. But before we know what to do, we need to know what exactly are the risk factors that our children are exposed to with the coronavirus pandemic. Just give me a second to tap into my notes. We are facing a global pandemic. Cecilia, hello, how are you? Thanks so much for joining in. I appreciate you. Please, if you have questions, please do put in your questions. I'm noting them and I will answer them at the right time. So we also have high stress home environments right now. Parents are stressed, the children are stressed. How do we distress the children? How do we manage their time? A time where it's already organized for them to be within school, 6 hours in school. Now they're going to be all home. So it's not just about feeding them and them eating a lot. Hello, Pastor, again. So it's just for us to be able to know what to do and how we do it. But like I said, let's see what are the challenges that coronavirus has exposed our children to. Domestic violence is going to be on the rise. Hitting of children, beating of children. We have both short-term and we have long-term implications of coronavirus on children. So see, okay, Shokumbi here. You're welcome. So how do we manage this? they're going to spend more time online. Some schools have already arranged for online classes. So they are going to have access to online. How do we manage the online and make sure that they don't go beyond online? How do we manage what they're watching on TV? Because they're going to have a lot of TV time, a lot of satellite time in terms of those of us who at least are paying that. So there's family confinement, there's isolation, there's economic vulnerability for parents. So there's a lot. So we don't even take out some things on our children. So we really have to, and so we're going to have a lot of child protection issues. And it's time, not just as a family, but even as a nation, and even as a country, it's time we're going to wake up to the fact that things have changed and things are going to change, and we need to package ourselves ready for the dynamics of the change that is coming, because the change has actually come, whether we like it or not. And coronavirus has awakened us to look at things in a different way than we used to look at. So it's also going to open time for a lot of parenting time for parents, a time where you are going to make sure the quality of the time is so important. Yes, there's so much time, but there are quality times for you now to develop better relationship with your children, which means listening to them. You know, it's not like in our days where the children don't say anything. You have to make time, which is number one. You have to make time for those me and you talk. And the me and you talk, thank you so much, Dickie. There you go. See, you're here. Thanks so much. And there's to see or no, Lakbo. Yes. I hope I didn't make any mistake there. Thank you so much for joining. So now, you have to make those times for conversation. And the time is not just, you have a time where you're talking to your general children if you have more than one, and then you have a time where each child has their own time with you. It's so important. And the you and me time for each child is not for you to be the one talking. Is to listen to your children. You have to make time to really listen to them. You have to have conversations where they are the one talking and you are listening. And when I say listen, it's your phones are down and you are really giving quality all me attention time to your child to listen to them, because it will help you pick a lot of things from challenges they are facing, from knowledge they've been exposed to, and this cuts across different areas, because it's not just on one thing, but you see that you can find a lot of things with your children to be able to know precisely which direction your children are going and what they really want to do with their lives and the things they've been exposed to. So important. And of course, we're not saying all of this because everything is about child sexual abuse, but because also you'll be able to get to get to know yourselves and live your own childhood all over through them, because you'll be seeing things through them and learning from them. We don't know it all. The children have answers to certain things. You'll be surprised. So that's number one. Making quality time with your children. Welcome, Stephanie Ijoma. Thank you for joining us. So that's number one. And number two is to have conversational starters. You may have a child who doesn't want to talk, so you want to have conversation and you want to take advantage of different times. Maybe during, playing game. It may be during in the kitchen, or you're just sitting there in the sitting room. Something happened. You're reading something, or they're reading something, or it could even be during a mathematics exercise, whatever. But you want to look for times to create a conversation. Now, quality time is different from having conversations to be able to talk about sexual abuse and other forms of abuses, so you know what your child has been exposed to. Because we think they don't know anything, they know more than us. When I say they know more than us, I'm talking seriously that children have a lot of knowledge that we don't even know. So you want to have an idea of what knowledge your child has been exposed to in cutting across different things that are social vices, social things. It doesn't mean that your child is going to smoke weed or is going to be into drug, substance, or whatever, abuse, but that they are aware that those things are out there. And then also, they are aware that there are other genders. We try to pretend when in the 21st century, there are things that are happening in the world, whether we like it or not. Our children need to be carried along those things happening. And who are the best people to do that role? You, as father and mother, are the ones who are the best to be able to tell your child, see, there are families that are different from us. There are people who, there are two fathers, there are two mothers. Whether you like it or not, that's what the world has. And that is the world your children are living in and will grow to be in. and even be friends with some. So you need to let them, so they know and they keep quiet because they'll say, oh, religiously, if I say, my father will say they are devils or they are. We just need to be able to balance information, and you want to have an idea of what your children know. So that's number 2. And number 3 is safety within the house. What are the safety nets you have put in your home? You know, some people can go technology and say they have CCTVs in their homes, which is not bad. If you can afford it, thanks so much. Jimmy Additional, thank you for joining. Our way late, thank you for joining. It's Dr. Princess talking about strategies to keep children safe from all forms of abuse during this coronavirus stay home. You know, this indoor thing that we have to has come upon us in a time where we were not prepared for it. So you're being jolted into preparedness in knowing on how to manage the situation the best way you can, and at least to make sure children are safe from all forms of abuses. And so it could be physical, it could be emotional. Somebody could just be talking to your child anyhow and demeaning the self-esteem of your child, which would have a long-time impact on the child. Same way, of course, sexual abuse. And this is the time to be able to check your child. If you've not been like a mom or dad, so this is not a mother's thing, this is parents, whether how you've not been active in bathing your child because of work, this is a time to really scrutinize your child to know their parts of their bodies are intact. Seriously, that there are no strange marks on your children, and there are nothing, that is not expected, in your child, because we ignore those things. But now it's time to really sit back and check on those things. So that's number 3. I believe I mentioned number 1 is quality time. Me talk with each of your children if you have more than one, and general talk with all of them. This is the time to share values. This is time to check their values that they're developing, and this is the time to check yourself also. How has parenting been? Am I doing the right thing? It's time to check yourself as a parent. And then safety nets, as I was talking earlier. You're welcome, Ray. You're also welcome, Oladipupo or Olumide Salako. You're welcome. So now you want to check safety nets. What are the safety nets you have put in your family? What are those things? What are the safety plans you've had in the past, if you ever had? And if you don't have, you need to develop plans. You need to sit down together with your family and map out what will make them safe, at least to the best of your ability in this situation. And then I talked about values. This is the time, Isioma, you're welcome. This is the time to share values. This is the time for us as Africans. We have values, we have stories. This is time to take advantage of those tortoise stories that teach. Remember the Aesop fables? When we were kids, we saw that. Hello, Isioma, thanks so much for saying hello. So now you want to know, share values. Share values. Very sweet. You're welcome. Good afternoon. Good morning. Share values. It's time to sit down and share values. It's time to spend time, quality time sharing values, creating those old days. I remember when my mother used to break melon. Yes, you may not break melon, but find some activity that they will do, and you can talk about stories of the old days. African stories, history. This is the time to take advantage of that. So you're going to take advantage of, because you have the time. It's there. This is the time that you didn't plan, but it's fallen on your laps. So you have to take advantage and maximize the use of this time. And then also, because of social isolation, so there's a lot of restriction on who is coming in. Now, to remember something else, this is not to scales, really. It's not to scales. Children have been found to be the highest number of molesters are children. So that's why you also, even siblings, it's happening. And it's not, God forbid, I reject it in Jesus' name. It is just to watch out what is going on, to notice if there is any sexually inappropriate behavior, to pick, so you can pick it. And now that also says that you need to know what is the age-appropriate sexuality behavior of children at different stages of their life, so that there's nothing you're seeing that will scare you. But because you know that, that is the normal phase for that child, and then being able to create boundaries. Hello, that's part of the safety plan. Boundaries. We don't understand boundaries, and we need to be able to teach our children boundaries at this time and respect for one another. Thank you so much, Odi Phil. Yeah, thank you. So that's part of it. But we need to know that coronavirus has predisposed children to a higher level of abuse. It's rising already. So we need to know that we can keep our own safe within our space. We can take advantage of this time, like I've mentioned. If you were not privy to be with me from the beginning, I think I mentioned like nearly 10 different strategies already. One I said is to spend quality time with them together, or your children together if you have more than one. And if you just want a one-on-one with each and every one of them, whether as a father, as a mother, spend time with them. And then number two, I said safety nets. Number three, share values. In the course of sharing values, you story, once upon a time. Let them get to know there was once upon a time stories. And with that, you're sharing values. All the stories will lengthen our days. And if you don't know them, please go online, find fables. We have stories. All the stories have things to teach about values, empathy, compassion, And then, yeah, another point, how to manage their stress at this time. They're going to be hyper, how to manage all of that. So I'll be sharing some resources, as once this is over, I think I'll be dropping some resources and some links that you can go to and get things to help you maximize the time that you'll be spending with your children at home at this time. Or at least if you're not there physically, to keep them occupied within the time, and to make sure, let your children know you are there. It doesn't matter if they even open up to you now that they were molested, or somebody said something to them wrongly, whether in emotional abuse form, or if it's physical, and you learn, or that something is happening between siblings, or that a cousin or whatever, because we told you 90% of people who touch them are people they know, and you know. So you want to listen to your child and trust your child. Let your child trust you. When you hear survivors speak, they'll say, I told my mom and she didn't believe me. I told my aunt, she didn't believe me. I told my dad, he didn't believe me. So believe your child. Let your child know you are there for them. Welcome, Kate. And with that, if there are no questions, I'm going to be rounding up this session. Like I said, I'll be coming up with a lot of more in this season. I'll be doing a lot of more talking. So the video will be there once I end the broadcast. It will be there. But if anybody who's been watching has any question or anything to say, please do say quickly so I can. If you have any questions, please do throw it up to me. And maybe when when the live video has has ended, you can still throw your questions. I'll come in and I'll definitely answer them. Thank you so much for the likes and the loves. I appreciate you. So this is all about the children. We have to know. They can't be affected, and they have to be protected. And I thank you so much. And this is Dr. Princess saying thank you for joining me. I really appreciate everybody who joined. Once it ends, the live video will be posted, so people can still access it, and questions can still come in. I'll definitely answer them. Yeah, I've given about 10 strategies. Let me see if I can quickly do a roundup again, which is number one, quality time with your children. Spend one-on-one